Welcome to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I am Teresa Aronson. I am so privileged and honored to be your host for this event every second Friday of the month. We are coming to you live on Facebook. We are in city chambers where I'm sitting right here at the dais, and I'm sitting here without one member of the public. So I want to remind you that you can come on down. We've got it set up for social distancing, and we'd love to see you again. We miss people. But I'm going to go ahead and get started right now. This show is done in partnership with the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce, and that's where I am from. And of course, we're going to have the Honorable Mayor Gregory Oravec here very, very shortly. But we cannot do it without our sponsors. And I want to start, as we always do, with one of our just favorite people in the entire world. And that sponsor, of course, for last year and this year is Mid-Florida Credit Union. Please welcome Shrita Walker. Good morning, Shrita.
Good morning, Teresa.
It is so nice to see you. And I know that we're still on somewhat of restrictions, and they are not quite ready to let any of my bank friends and partners quite out in the community yet. But I do want to tell everybody numbers are going down. Numbers are going down, and we're looking better and better every day. So I'm happy about that. Happy to report that in the top 2 minutes of our show. But Shrita, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you. Trying to stay safe and sanitized, busy.
And you're kind of a social person too, so how are you handling all of this distancing?
I'm rolling with it, trying to keep my sanity.
Yes. You at least get to go into the office every day and see your coworkers, because Mid-Florida is still open every single day, right?
Yes, that is correct. We are open regular business hours. So lobby 9 to 5, except on Wednesdays we open at 10:30, and on Fridays we close at 6. Saturdays we're open till 1 o'clock, and our drive-through has always been open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Wow, that's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours to have somebody in the office. So thank you for that. Because there have been several banks that have closed. It's not been convenient for many people, but Mid-Florida is always there for you. Speaking of that, I see there's some action at the Mid-Florida Event Center. It bears your name. Obviously, you don't handle operations there. City Hall does. That's City of Port St. Lucie's. But it's exciting to see that name back in the Facebook world, at least a little bit. Something's going on over there. So.
Yes, lots of exciting things going on, and we do have a special guest, so I'm not going to take her thunder, let her talk about what she's got going on at the Mid-Florida Event Center, Miss Lynette Marafa.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Shrita. We're so proud to partner with the City of Port St. Lucie, of course, the Chamber, and of course, our platinum sponsor, Mid-Florida Credit Union. So we are so privileged and honored to be able to actually host this event this year, because it's such an important business community event. And of course, that event is the Treasure Coast Business Summit. So where do we go from here, Teresa?
Well, I just want to let everybody know at home that things are up and running. And this is one of the first events that is an annual event, and we're all excited to be a part of it. But we're going to do it this year. I mean, it's happening. Our numbers are going down. The cases look great. We're taking every precaution known to man that we certainly can do feasibly. And we are going to be at the Treasure Coast Business Summit. When is the date? Tell us the date.
So, just to piggyback, it is October 15th, and it's intentionally on a Thursday. We've done this historically. So this is the 12th year. It's the 12th annual Treasure Coast Business Summit. And for those who don't know, we've historically had it the week after Small Business Week in May. And of course, we didn't have the opportunity to do that this year because of what was happening in the world. But we know that our Treasure Coast leadership, as well as the City of Port St. Lucie and the Mid-Florida Event Center, have taken extraordinary precautionary measures to keep that facility clean and safe. And so we were given the green light to have this business community event. And just taking a temperature out there, being in the community every day, people are ready to be back to business, and this is the place to do it. And so we have an exciting lineup of speakers and activities to participate in for all different types of businesses, small, mid, large businesses. There's some continuing ed opportunities. The Small Business Development Center is going to be there, and Mid-Florida is a huge part of this event. They've got a lot of great things going on as far as incentives, which I was so impressed to see on your website. So people should check that out. I'm a banker there, or I am a consumer of your banking services.
You patron.
And I will say, impressive service, because other banks aren't open. You can't go into the lobby. They close at 4:00, and Mid-Florida is where it's at. So we're extraordinarily blessed to partner with such a growing, deep-rooted, and intense partner in this community. Mid-Florida is knocking it out of the park here on the Treasure Coast. And we're going to do that too at the Business Summit. So we want everybody there. You can go to tcbizsummit.com to participate, get tickets. We have under 10 booths left, so we're almost sold out, but we will sell out. It's a sellout event every year, but we want the business community to come out, embrace this event. The governor's initiative is let's get back to business, so let's do that.
And just so you know, people watching at home, this is sort of a business to business or business to consumer expo. And literally every small business in town is represented there, and the large businesses too. But it's really a great opportunity for people to learn about all the resources, everything going on in St. Lucie County, actually Treasure Coast wide, realistically. So please, I know that our members, chamber members, are given the opportunity to receive free tickets to this event. And so they can do that on your website, which you gave out. We're excited about that. We are going to be hosting the lunch. It'll be our annual luncheon with Russ Blackburn, the city manager of Port St. Lucie. He gives us sort of an update on what's going on here in the city. So we're excited about that. You can get tickets to that luncheon on our website, which is stluciechamber.org. We just do it in partnership with our friends and partners at TCBS, but it is sort of a separate event, but it is the lunch at the Treasure Coast Business Summit. And of course, we're also interconnected. Mid-Florida is your platinum sponsor at the Mid-Florida Event Center, because Mid-Florida is top notch on getting involved in the community, for sure, right? Did we lose Shrita? She's still with us, right? Good. So we appreciate everything they do, and I do want to encourage people. So we're going to be masked, and for those of you that were watching at the beginning, we finally got somebody from the public in our audience, so I had to mask up. This is a public space. The mayor and I had this conversation last month. It's a public space, and if there's somebody from the public in here, I need to mask up. But so I'm excited about that. Our first public person is in the audience. Yay for us. Lots of people are watching on Facebook. And did we put, we'll try to get the website for the Treasure Coast Business Summit up in the Facebook link as well. So thank you for that, Lynette. We really do appreciate it. We're excited. You look like you need to share something else.
Oh, no, I was just holding up the flyer. So,
very good.
If you go on our Facebook or you go on tcbizsummit.com, you'll see the full agenda. You'll see who our sponsors are. We have a lot of great community sponsors. And it's not possible without the partnerships of these individuals here and, of course, the city of Port St. Lucie. So we want to see everybody out on October 15th. Let's get back to business. Let's get the economy revitalized and moving, and we'll see you there.
All right. Thank you, Lynette. And Shrita,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Shrita is so kind. The sponsorship that they do, they often bring in partners that they're working with to highlight other things. And so it just serves so many great purposes, Mid-Florida's partnership with us. We appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a break really quickly, and then we'll be right back with Mayor Gregory Oravec.
Give us the recap. Give me the recap. You look like you were going over Treasure Coast Business Summit this morning. And
we did. We had Lynette Marafa, of course, who you know very well, and her partner, Dana Trabolsi, are putting on the Treasure Coast Business Summit, as they always do. It's an annual event. And it's happening October 15th at the Mid-Florida Event Center. And, of course, our sponsor is Mid-Florida, so they invited them on to tell us all about it. They're doing the Treasure Coast Business Summit.
It's even, the road's even called Event Center Place now.
Oh, they do? Oh, good.
Right out front there, the city, we changed the name.
To Mid-Florida?
Well, it's really Event Center, which is nice.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how you fit Mid-Florida Credit Union Event Center Place on a sign. That's legible for people like me.
It's too much. So yeah, Event Center, you know exactly what it is.
So what's happening with the chamber? What should the people of Port St. Lucie and our business people know about what's going on at the chamber?
Well, it's so funny that you ask. We've been so incredibly busy, but there is a lot going on that we think businesses need to be aware of. And so we've spent a lot of time trying to do education. First and foremost, there is a mask mandate. We talk about it every single month. And it's very important for businesses because they are tasked with making sure people are adhering to the mask mandate in their business. It is a county mandate. And at stlucieco.gov, you can find the full mandate. There's exceptions to every rule, as you know. So people say...
St. Lucie County, not the city of Port St. Lucie. You said St. Lucie County.
That is correct. That is correct. So you can't call Mayor Orvac to complain about the mandate. He did not put that in place.
Well, you can. I mean, you can, and people...
And they will.
And they should. We're the government closest to the people. But I did want to just take a moment there just to talk about government, forms of government. And the Chamber does this great leadership class for St. Lucie County. I love it. I'm a huge fan, supporter, and of course, graduate.
Yep.
One of the things that you teach is all the different institutions. And for people who are like us, who are in government or government adjacent, we kind of know a lot of the players. We know how it works. It's our everyday.
We do.
But for the people out there, our average citizens, it's not their everyday.
No.
They don't know the ins and outs. And you like to joke. What do you joke about knowing your commissioners and your mayor and stuff? What do you say about that?
Well, I always think that they should, but I would say 75 to 80% of the people when I do those trivia questions at events do not know who their mayor is.
Right. And so I'm pretty out there as far as mayors go and in our community. But you're probably right. So there's a lot of people that just go about their everyday life, as they should.
Yeah. They go to work, their kids go to school, they come home, they have to make dinner, they do homework. They're not thinking about what you and I are doing on a day.
No, but I've seen that name before. You must be in charge of the county.
Yeah, yeah.
And we take where maybe the customs and the institutions where we are from to where we move to. So if you're not native to here, you're from New York or somewhere else, you might not know our form of government and how it works. And I just want to put out there that the city only had, in the city council, the mayor and city council, I'm just a member of the city council. We have jurisdiction over the city, not the whole county. And if you're ever curious about our council manager form of government, we have kind of a city constitution, which is called the charter.
Your charter, yep.
And it's not very long, and it's available at cityofpsl.com. And if you're ever just not been able to go to sleep at night and you want to read about how your city government works, it's right there.
Yeah. And I think it's important because if you do want to complain, my thing is I'm all for complaining. You have the right to as an American. But I like it if you're complaining correctly. There is a correct way to complain. And so if you can identify first who's in charge of that, start here with your anger level, like, I'm upset about this. Who should I be upset at? That should be your first question. And then, once you get to the right point. So we see a lot of people that just, their anger is misdirected. And I'm not mad at their anger. I'm mad at the misdirection. So if we can continue to educate people to understand how it works here, but I know why they don't. I would say 95% of the United States can name more Kardashians than local legislators. If I'm, I think that's true. That might
make a fun game where we walk the streets. Maybe not a PSL. Maybe we should do it in unincorporated St. Lucie County.
You don't want to embarrass constituents.
No, I don't want to embarrass those who, I love. But, you make this great point of, I think especially right now, we're hyper-partisan times, election year, pandemic, uncertainty, a lot of unhappiness, pain, suffering.
Yeah.
We're on edge, so we're more apt to have a shorter fuse. And I think social media plays into this also.
So much.
So I like your idea of asking questions, because before we make accusations, before we really get angry and direct our anger at another human being, let's at least go through the due diligence in our homework.
Where does this anger belong?
Let's ask the questions first.
Yeah.
And then let's try to improve the situation. And most people that I know here at the city, the county, and all of our local institutions want to help people.
Oh, absolutely.
Congress and Mass Office, all of our local institutions, they want to help. So if we would just ask questions before accusations, I think we'd be better. But certainly the mask ordinance is a big thing. I get a lot of questions too. I know your members do, so thanks for letting me take that little digression. But so mask ordinance is one of the things that you're doing with your members. What else? I think you were telling me breakfast is coming back.
Breakfast is coming back, and I guess I'll announce it here today. We will be having our first in-person breakfast on the 22nd at PGA. So it's limited to 48 people. There is a lot of, you should know this before you decide you want to come, because they have a lot of rules in place at PGA. We are taxing on some more. And so we're excited about it. But I think that with the cases hovering around 5% or less on positive rate, that was sort of the goal we were trying to get to. So this isn't something that we're doing lightly. We wanted to wait till school started, see how that impacted our cases. And then we wanted to make sure that we were around the 5% positive rate before we decided to go back out there. So we are there. Some days it's below 5%. And so we feel comfortable inviting our members out to breakfast. But we're, by all means, you don't have to come if you do not want to.
And you have to do it responsibly, because that's all it takes is for us to forget all the precautions that helped us get back to 5%. And then all of a sudden you're at 10, 15, 20%. And that's what I say, is that when we take it seriously, when we take simple precautions, when we distance, avoid closed spaces, close contact, we are successful in bringing the rate of spread down. But then, like when we was like, oh yeah, things are normal and we're gonna do normal stuff, then all of a sudden, in 2 weeks you see a spike, and 2 weeks after that you see a spike in hospitalizations, and 2 weeks after that you see a spike in deaths. So it's really important that we manage it until we get to what comes next.
And I think it's important to note that we have a local county mask mandate. And that really just says in public, you need to be wearing your mask. And yes, it's somewhat interpretive, but not really. In public, you need to be wearing your mask. And then, of course, there's the state mandate, that's the phased reopening that we're in. And so we are in phase 2 here in St. Lucie County. So we are not to gather beyond 50 people. And so I think that there's interpretations. So restaurants that hold 200 people are able to work at 50% capacity. So they can have 100 people in their restaurant, right? But those 100 people are not networking or mingling together. That is not one group of 100 people. It's 100 different people eating dinner in a place that holds 200. So we need to make sure that we understand that, because we can only do 48 people because I have 2 staff members, and we cannot gather beyond our, the 50-person mandate. So we're going to be doing that. But politics are huge right now. Obviously, we're a couple months out from the general election. I do want to say that the chamber, for the very first time, we have our PAC in place, and we are conducting candidate forums every single day, every Monday through Thursday, 1 and 2 o'clock. We feature a different race via Zoom. So everybody, we do it Facebook Live, so anybody can hop on there and see that. And we, of course, are endorsing for the very first time, and it's treacherous waters, as you know.
It is, but it is the Political Action Committee, not the chamber proper.
It's not, but the chamber will be able to take the Political Action Committee's decision and speak in that manner. So as the chamber, we can say, oh, our PAC has endorsed so-and-so. So it's going to be hard for people to make that distinction, and I think me trying to make that distinction is going to fall on deaf ears. So realistically, the chamber is now endorsing candidates. And that was not entered into lightly either, and that is kind of best practices of chambers all over the world. They either have a government entity housed within them, like a tourist development or an economic development, or they have a PAC, but that's just sort of the normal operations, because we all have to play our role, and we are the business advocate. And there's no better way to advocate for business than making sure the leaders that are in place are the ones that are going to be most open to the business needs.
Absolutely. I encourage you in the chamber to engage in advocacy efforts, formal advocacy efforts. And I would encourage everyone, every citizen, every organization to be curious, learn, and then advocate. Be informed and then advocate your position. Everyone should do that. And it's a huge thing that's going on. So normally we talk about topical events, hey, what's going on? The election looms over everything right now. But here at the city, we're nonpartisan. This is what I say to all of the elections.
And I'm not going to
This is a nonpartisan city. We don't get involved in party politics. We just care about making the city a better place. And so people want to talk. And I was like, I'm happy to work with whoever gets elected. This is the decision of the people. And the last thing that I want as mayor is to lose 50% of the population relationship with them.
Based on a label.
So I avoid that.
Well, I can't tell you that we are not partisan at the chamber either. We're just interviewing candidates and trying to find the best fit for the job. It certainly has nothing to do with party. And I also can make this promise: we will never discuss who we are endorsing or what we are backing on this show, because this is the City of Port St. Lucie show. So if you want to know all that stuff, you're going to have to seek me out outside of this world. But yes, that is happening. But I do invite you to our forums, because that I try to do my very best to show absolutely positively no emotion. And I've done forums for years, as you know, but I'm typically...
I'm a robot.
I am a robot. But I'm typically behind a desk and you can't see me at home. But on Zoom, when I'm a robot, I am literally just my face of blank. Like, you're not even sure I'm
Maybe
moving.
get another mask. That way you could just be like this and then show this much emotion.
I know it, because I just don't want people to think that I'm smiling at one and not smiling at the other. So, but my face gets a good workout. I can tell you that, because at times during these forums, it is very hard to keep a straight face, but I'm managing, I think, to some degree. But so all those people that text me, email me, and put on Facebook, smile, you're on camera. It's like, no, I wouldn't dare. I'm just going to sit here like a robot. But it's been fun. It's been really informative too. So I'm happy about that. The other thing I did want to mention is that we're selling our masks now for $10. That's with tax for 50 masks. I was able to work on some other stuff, and we've cut some costs, and I just want to make sure that everybody, all of our chamber members, have access to affordable masks. So we've knocked that price down to $10 for 50. I don't think you can get those anywhere.
That's a pretty good deal.
It's a pretty good deal. We'll even deliver in most cases. So it gives us, we like to be out there and say hi to people. So $10. We have some questions. I haven't been able to read them, and I keep moving away from my mic.
So we have a Cameron Cook out there, and that's actually a handle, I believe, for our friend of the city and member of the half-cent sales tax citizen committee, Steve Cook. He'll actually be leading the Pledge of Allegiance in just a few days here for our Floresta Drive corridor groundbreaking ceremony. So he's a really positive guy, and was just chiming in with some words of encouragement there. And right back at him, he was just a very active citizen, loves his city, is very involved, was involved with the half cent, lives right on Floresta Drive, and can't wait for there to be sidewalks. He has a beautiful family, lives right on that busy road. And the Floresta Drive project was one of the marquee projects that was green lighted as a result of the half-cent sales tax being approved by the voters of St. Lucie County. And so the groundbreaking ceremony will be in just a few days. And we're going to make it short and sweet under the circumstances, obviously with gatherings, as we've already discussed, and just also the heat, and just getting that road underway. So if you've been around the city a while, you know that Floresta has been on the board to be improved for a long time, but a council from way back in the early 2000s elected to do Becker Road first. And Becker got improved and Floresta was punted, and it's a multi-million-dollar project. And of course, we went through the Great Recession, couldn't get there. And now we're there, and it's exciting. And to see sidewalks and that connectivity. And the traffic model showed us with crosstown and everything else, it didn't have to be a 4-lane divided highway like Eroso, that it could be a beautiful neighborhood road like Westmoreland or Morningside, where it's going to be a boulevard section with nice sidewalks on both sides of the road, multimodal paths, and landscaping. And some of those intersections will be improved. The PSL Boulevard intersection will be improved. So it's exciting to see it underway.
Good. It is exciting. We have that half-cent sales tax. Everybody's been waiting for this stuff to happen. And, of course, it puts people to work. So we're excited.
And Robert Harris was checking in on the boardwalk at the port. So Riverwalk has been renamed and branded as the port. And the Westmoreland property, that piece that's under development right now where the historic homes are, that's Pioneer Park. And that boardwalk, we're going to have the ribbon cutting ceremony the same day as Floresta. So just, in a few days here, next week. And that phase, Robert will be able to go for a nice sunrise stroll, sunset stroll out on the St. Lucie River. And that first phase will be opening up here this month. And then the work continues. So it's beautiful. That section is done. The connection to Bridge Plaza, done. But now they're going to continue to do the piece to the south, to the preserve. And then we're working with FDOT on the timeline to firm that up, to make the connection to the existing boardwalk on the north under the Port St. Lucie Boulevard Bridge. So the concept is approved. It's just that FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, who's responsible for maintaining the bridge over the river, they have some work to do underneath on the embankment.
Okay.
And they have to kind of shore up where the bridge meets the water.
Okay.
So that seawall underneath there,
Yeah.
they have to do some repair and maintenance work there. And we certainly didn't want to be responsible for doing the state's job. But we have to kind of ask them very nicely, could you expedite this work? Because you're holding up progress here.
How's that going? How's that usually work with FDOT?
Yeah, I will say that, FDOT, just for all the government nerds, I know so many are watching out there right now. And I know how you love to get in the weeds.
I love the weeds.
The Florida Department of Transportation divides the state into districts. And so there's the head of FDOT, but then there's a head of every district. And our head, Jerry O'Reilly, has been great to work with.
Good.
And he's been very responsive. And
When you know the name of your FDOT person that you work with, that's like 100%, 95% of the battle. So that's great. Then you have a relationship with him.
yes, even when he was the assistant, he and I worked together on Crosstown and how we might expedite it and make it happen. Because we were back in the day, in 2012, we were at this point where, hey, is this thing going forward or not? What's going on here? Went down to his office and had a productive meeting that kind of changed the track to get us to where we've gotten to. And found him responsive then as a deputy and find him very responsive now as the head. So we are making progress on that.
I was reading the Facebook comments, but I've learned my lesson. Take my glasses.
So we have a question here regarding water issues and tradition regarding rusting.
Oh, is there water issues out there?
So I'm not sure if they're talking about irrigation or from the potable water supply.
Yeah, that's an
I'm
interesting
thinking it's
question.
irrigation. If it's showing, maybe he'll type in there and we'll see. But hey, in Florida, if you look at water that's being pulled either from a surface water source, AKA a lake, or the superficial
Your well.
aquifer, AKA your well, and you see, and it's untreated water, you're going to see that if a sprinkler hits something repetitively, you're going to see rust. And why is that? Because iron is oxidizing. That's what rust is. You're going to see that anywhere in Florida unless you treat the water and take the iron out.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what he is referring to, so maybe we can find out. If not here, maybe offline. Where is it impacting the rust, and which water is impacting the rust?
Yes, but our water quality is excellent. And if you're talking about potable water, we take our water from a couple of sources, the superficial and then the Floridan aquifer. We blend it at the water plant. And of course, we test our water on a regular basis. And a detailed study is available at cityofpsl.com. Just go to utilities and then go to the water quality study. So you don't have to worry about your water being anything other than what you need it to be in Port St. Lucie. We have a state-of-the-art utility, and we have safe, healthy drinking water. We don't have to, knock on wood, worry about issues like you saw in Flint or elsewhere.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that on the show, even as a co-host with the mayor, I learned lots of stuff too. So my husband came to me and said, we need to do something about our water pressure. I said, we live as far as we possibly can from Prineville. And remember, we had a gentleman say his water pressure was way too
high.
strong. And he lived right there in the heart of the city near Oroso, right close to Prineville. And I was like, honey, it's got a long way to go till it gets out here. I'm not sure we can do a whole lot about that. So we learn a lot on this show.
That's something we could check for you, because they set it so that there's adequate pressure throughout the system. So if you find where you really are in a low pressure situation, we should check that, make sure you don't have a problem with your valve at the box or the house valve, the valve into the home.
Yeah, and I think we need to check too, because it's not all, I don't think it is coming into the home, that water pressure, because I think it's only specific faucets that he's discussing. So that sounds to me like it's more very localized.
And it could be, technically we're supposed to clean our faucets every once in a while,
Yeah.
the aerator, maybe dip them in some vinegar and clean out any deposits that are in there.
Because there's always deposits. I mean, no water.
There always are, and in fact, a couple of years ago, we had some comments because we cleaned the lines for the first time
that.
in over a decade, and that's well over the normal standard industry interval of time.
Yeah.
Because of the way we operate the system, but we did have to do it. You flush the lines,
Yeah.
and then there's a higher chlorine content. You can smell it. Drives us all crazy. I don't like it either.
And again, I think closer to the source, you smell that a lot more, because we did not smell much of that at all. Ed has clarified, so I think maybe that's something that he should probably get in touch with you offline, that it is the supply that comes into his homes. He's worried about rusting. So I think that's probably not something we can handle here today. We'd have to find out more.
That is true.
The other one was about restaurants. Ed had a question about restaurants. It's supposed to be 50% capacity, and if you feel that somebody isn't adhering to that, who do you report it to? And I don't think I know the answer to that question. I mean, I think you can report it to the jurisdiction that you are in, but I'm not sure if any jurisdiction has a hotline or if you're supposed to really be reporting that to the state. So I don't have the answer. Do you have the answer to that?
Well, any of the governor's executive orders are enforceable at the local level by the local jurisdiction. So you can call that in, and we will refer it. You mentioned that before. I didn't know if that was still in play here, so I just would want to
make sure
to verify
the 50%
that.
capacity. I think that that is still in play. We have representative from federal government here, and I don't know if she knows off the top of her hand, but we're in phase 2. And phase 2 is 50%. So I believe it is, but we'll double check on that.
So, but at the same time, we can't be everywhere at once. And it's definitely the posture of the government is not to be ticketing people. I've heard complaints about a couple of restaurants in Tradition where they don't wear masks, et cetera.
And I understand that too. And I don't know if we should go around policing each other and beating up on each other for our personal decisions. So I've preached to each their own. But if you think that it is risking the greater health of the community and you feel that you need to do something about it, I certainly understand that as well. But I don't believe in policing every person that walks into Publix without a mask, because I don't know their story. And I don't think that that's fair to start singling out people and attacking people for their choices. So I'm hopeful that, yes, we're telling you there's a mask mandate and you are supposed to wear your mask, and I'm going to leave the rest up to you. But are you supposed to? Yes. That's as simple as it gets. But I am not here to enforce that.
Well, that might be our libertarian streak that we share. So I preach personal accountability also. Mm-hmm. Like rather than trying to police a restaurant where you can't control anyone else but yourself, if you're uncomfortable, don't go there.
Get out.
I personally, as you know, if a restaurant is very well ventilated and only has a few tables, then I would go there. But if it fills up, I'm out. And you and I actually had a lunch,
Yep.
and that happened.
Got a little full.
We met early to beat the lunch, and then it got full, and I was like, that's it. My detector's going off. I'm out. And my family, one of our favorite places is Bonefish Grill, and we eat outside.
Yeah.
You know, they have a couple of tables outside, and we tend to, for a special occasion, we'll go later in the evening after the rush, and we eat outside. And that's it. Generally speaking, we have not been inside at a restaurant.
I can say that I have gotten a little braver, and I don't know if it's for any reason. I mean, the numbers are going down, but I have gotten a little braver. So I think that you will see me in a restaurant. I've been in quite a few restaurants. I'm having lunch with people, not a lot. I feel like I'm still being careful. I wear my mask to the table. I take it off. So I want to say that I need you to get out in the community. I need you to go to lunch, to restaurants. I need you to go to stores, and we need to help commerce here locally. And I certainly am doing my part. I can promise you that. But I also want you to be careful. So I don't like extremities. You know, let's not get extreme about anything. I don't want to police anybody. We all just need to do our part and police ourselves for the most part. But with guidelines, because not every single individual can be trusted. But I have always said this, though, too. When you put a mask mandate in place, most people adhere to it because it's been mandated. And so I don't think that you have to say, well, they can make their own choice. Well, we've made this choice, but we're not beating you up about your individual choice. But I think that for the majority of people, they like to adhere to the rules. I like to adhere to the rules. I'm a rule follower. Always have been. Well, maybe not, but for the most part, as an adult, I think I'm very much a rule follower. But I can say for my parents and for some of my high-risk friends, they are getting out more as well because they feel a little bit more comfortable because when they walk through Publix, 80-90% of the people are wearing masks, and that's a little bit more comforting for them. So I say masks because commerce and more, if it allows more people to get out, that's what we need to do. But I'm a business organization. I'm always going to be serving businesses. So we don't have any more questions. Wow. And I gave up on reading Facebook comments.
I can't, I don't blame you for that. When I'm no longer mayor, Facebook will be a thing of my past. Did you open with remembering 9/11 and just memorializing that today this just does happen to fall on September the 11th, and I can't believe it's been 19 years since that deadly terrorist attack?
I did not, and I did. I know you, and I know that that's something you certainly would have wanted to address with me on your show. So we have not.
It's just weird that it fell on this day, and I kind of felt conflicted. Like, should we even have coffee with the mayor on September 11th? Because normally we would be at a September the 11th event, but it's virtual today. And I was just speaking to some survivors last night, and we can never forget. We have to always remember that deadly attack and how people to this day are still impacted, directly, indirectly. But I don't know if we all remember where we were probably when it happened. It's one of those those moments in time that you can never forget, and we should never forget. And just want everyone to know who was impacted by that event, all of us, but the ones that were directly impacted, family involved, family lost, we're thinking about you today.
Some paid the ultimate price, and their families still do. So very, very, very sad day, as we all remember. I mean, it was one of the scariest and saddest days ever, and so it should never go unrecognized. And we are typically at some ceremonies throughout the day, and not today. So this is at least something that we can bring people's attention towards 9/11.
Well, and we have our virtual ceremony here at the city. I don't know if it's like on right now.
Oh, it's on right now?
Well, when you think about, so right now we have the time as 9:19 here in the council chambers. So at 8:46 is when that first plane struck the North Tower. 9:03 had the South Tower. 9:37 was the time that the Pentagon building was struck. So we're right there in that time frame, 19 years ago.
We'll take a moment, everybody, just to remember.
It's a heavy thing, and a generation before us, Pearl Harbor was one of those things where, they would never forget and always remember. And for people of our age, I think, this is one of those things.
Kennedy, where you were when Kennedy was shot, and yeah, there are a few things.
So that one was a little bit before my time. I think before yours, or right about when you were zero. I don't know, -3 what you were, but a little bit.
It was before my time.
Yeah, before mine for sure. But probably the Challenger was the first traumatic event that I can really remember crystallized in my memory.
I remember the Challenger as well, and I was in high school. And so one of our teachers was somewhat of a finalist. So it was a big deal at our school, as it was in most schools, I think, at that time.
It was.
And we all had their TVs on in the classrooms.
You were in high school. I was in 6th grade. Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Well, you've
Thank
done
you.
so much better in the aging department, It's just a shot. So will there be any tax breaks for new small business after COVID?
I have some questions.
Yeah, hit it.
Okay. Well, for a few things, we are working with the county. There will be some impact fee, a reduction in impact fees. There'll be some deferrals that will be in place, for some of the upfront fees when you're opening a small business. And for us at the Chamber of Commerce, I cannot say this enough. If you are getting ready to open a business, expand your business, purchase space or rent a bay for your business, please come and talk to us first, because we are going to sit you down and say, look, this is what you're supposed to have for this type of business, and you need to make sure that that's appropriate for where you want to go, and that we can try to help you keep expenses down. So I liken this to, somebody says to me, I've got a great deal on a bay to put my barber shop in. And it may sound like a great deal, but when you come to us, we're going to tell you this hasn't been updated in 20 years. The same business has been here. All the restrooms are too small. You're going to have to fix, there's things that people don't know and probably shouldn't have to know. And when you're, somebody's going to open a barbershop, they're probably a great barber, and they need to be up on the latest techniques there. They're not going to be latest on what are regulations, ADA regulations, local regulations, state regulations. So that's where we can help you. And that is totally free. You don't have to be a member of the chamber. Just come on down, sit down with us, tell us your idea, and let us help you put it into place. So that's one of the things. But there will be some, there's an impact fee moratorium in the city of Fort Pierce. The county is doing 15% reduction on impact fees. So I think there'll be more assistance. What do you guys got?
So we're lowering taxes next week for everybody.
Wow.
So that'll be the 5th year in the row that we do that. Of course, if you're an existing business, I encourage you to go to Recover St. Lucie. Mm-hmm. See if you qualify for any of the incentives.
And they have grants, and they just opened up their second phase of that. So the first phase was 1 to 10 employees, and now they've expanded on that. You do have to have a brick and mortar location. You do have to be impacted by the shutdown, but for the grants, but not for a ton of other resources that they have there at Recovery St. Lucie. So virtual recovery center. And there's a link on our website. There's a link on youredc.com as well. So lots of stuff for businesses, honestly. I think that everybody's trying to get in there and see where we can help.
So we had a question about any new businesses. So even in this pandemic, we've been very fortunate to announce some major economic development deals that are going to put hundreds and hundreds of people to work, especially out in the Tradition Jobs Corridor, the 4 running miles along I-95 from Becker to Tradition Parkway/Gatlin. So that's really amazing that even in this environment, with everything that's going on, that economic development is still occurring here really robustly. Mm-hmm. The city manager and I toured the Florida Research and Innovation Center earlier this week for the first time since Cleveland Clinic occupied the building.
Good.
And they're bringing in scientists and have scientists from Harvard and the University of Chicago who are now set up shop here in PSL and are working on things like COVID. So it's really exciting and encouraging. Now, if you're talking, Mike Smith, more on the retail side, then as mayor, I have to very, in my delicate fashion, of course you can't see that I'm smiling under my mask, readjust our expectations. Because restaurants and retailers are going out of business left and right. So if you read the Business Journal, you're seeing someone go out of business on a weekly basis. Some of department stores are going out of business, restaurants are going out of business, major ones that have been around for 200 years, going out of business.
Yes.
So, we have to calibrate our expectations and understand that in this environment, if it's the retailers and restaurateurs that we've been coveting, that we want, now might not be the time that we get them. We have to get through the other side of the COVID-19, see everything stabilize, see entertainment and retail return to normal, whatever that may be when we get to the other side, understanding that retail was already shifting, was already experiencing a fundamental shift from bricks and mortar to online. We were already seeing that.
We are.
And this is maybe going to accelerate that. Yesterday, I think if you read, you saw that Amazon, despite investing $4 billion with a B in COVID prevention measures, crushed analysts' expectations. And so you're seeing that shift. Walmart is increasing their online presence. Mm-hmm. So you're just seeing this major shift, and you're seeing things like Lord & Taylor say, no, we can't make it anymore. Cheesecake Factory filing bankruptcy. You're just seeing this happen.
Locally,
so
we lost Steinmart.
It's just not expansion time. So to learn more about our efforts, please go to cityofpsl.com. and /Southern Grove will give you a really good feel for the economic development that's happening out there, putting people to work, which is going gangbusters, and then /retail for what we try to do on the recruitment side for retail and restaurants. And then here again, because I just got a message 3 nights ago from St. Lucie West, some of our friends out there would like to see a Doris Italian deli and bakery in the spot that Publix is moving to a new Publix out there in St. Lucie West Boulevard. And they'd like to see that spot, or the spot that was supposed to be Lucky's, which went bankrupt and closed all of its locations.
Yes, they did.
They'd like to see that be Doris's. And the city of Port St. Lucie doesn't dictate site location for retailers and restaurants. What we try to do is encourage and facilitate by being the best community we can be, obviously, safe, beautiful, and prosperous with a lot of jobs and a desirable place to be, high quality life. We do that. We introduce our community in case they never
heard of us.
Yeah, heard of us, met us, if you will. Yeah. And then with reducing regulation and taxes, we can encourage them, but it's their business fundamentals that dictate whether they will be here or not, and their internal site location process. And we don't dictate here at the city brands, what brand can go where.
Yeah.
We don't. We really have a hard time legally saying that, hey, we want that sit-down restaurant versus that fast casual restaurant. Because from a legal perspective, from a rights perspective, a restaurant is a restaurant.
And
so we don't have as much control or even influence that people think, but it is important. It's important to our residents, important to us. It's something, because we're a bedroom community, that we have a lack of compared to other communities that we like. So we're working on it. We're doing everything we can. Under the best of circumstances, we can influence it and maybe make the difference in a coin flip. But in this current environment, it's important for us to reset our expectations, because now is not the time for restaurants and most businesses, especially on the retail restaurant side, to expand. It's just not.
Well, seems like a good time to give my PSA on retail, as I always do, I think that there is no such thing as retail development. Your market dictates what you will get. And every national chain has demographics they are looking for. And when you reach those demographics, when you have that combination of demographics they have decided for themselves, then they will build. Now, I do agree with you that it's nice to say, hey, don't forget we're here. Take a look at our demographics, if you would. But we have to remember, most large chains want 1 million people to be able to have access within a certain amount of miles of their location. And that's very hard for us because, City of Port St. Lucie is doing their part, trust me, but we have a lot of small communities around us. So we're not quite there for a lot of the benchmarking for major retailers. But I just think that when your demographics indicate we should build there, that's when they will build here. And it's nice to remind them that we exist. Please take a look at our demographics. But that is probably what I feel is the most control that you have over it.
Well, in our greater market area it's not the city of PSL, it's all of St. Lucie County plus Martin.
Yep.
That's the Port St. Lucie metropolitan statistical area. And that whole area is just over 500,000 people. And so when you're comparing it to the Palm Beach County market or the Broward market or the Miami-Dade market, and it's really weird because we celebrate that we're the 7th most populous city in Florida, meaning we're 206,000 people now. But we're in a county that's only 300 and change. And so you have Palm Beach County that's approaching 1.5 million. You have Broward that's between 1.5 million and 2. I mean, you're getting up there and it's significantly larger.
Yeah, we're not even halfway there.
And then when you're a business that straddles the line between Palm Beach and Broward, and then your market area that you're drawing from is 3 million, it's a different kettle of fish.
It is. And so when Costco wanted to go down to Martin County, it's because the radius included a great deal of northern Palm Beach County, which upped their numbers to demographically desirable location. And so people need to be aware of that. That really is how it works. So no matter what you want, whatever your favorite restaurant, store, retailer is, certainly feel free to reach out to them and say, look, do you know we exist? Check out our demographics. But I don't think it's up to the mayor or any government entity to get them there. But it is maybe your role to remind them we exist.
Absolutely. And the posture of a community can dictate where a business locates in the trade area, in the market area.
So I do want to say, you did a great job with Costco. I mean, you threw everything you had at it, and I think that they were very impressed. But we didn't reach the demographics. We didn't have what they were looking for, and their model does not allow for exceptions because they like the mayor and the residents, and we, literally and...
That one hurts, and it's because they were very sensitive to a 1 mile radius that included... basically Martin Downs and all those communities in Palm City. That was their sweet spot. So one of the things that's happened over time with the rise of online data sources, because every time you put your name and number in something, or on the back end, they've set up a wall so that when you walk into a shopping center, anytime you use their credit card, they know what you're buying, when you're buying it. They have all this data figured out. They know exactly how we spend our money. So they've really become increasingly sophisticated over I've been a professional now since about 96, I think, when I got involved. And they've just gone leaps and bounds in their sophistication as far as knowing their consumers, what their consumers spend, and where they need to be profitable, especially the most successful companies.
For sure.
So they know what they call the psychographic, characteristics of their buyers. Are you empty nesters? They have all these different categories. I mean, they literally have like 27 different categories of consumers, and they know where their sweet spot is. And their sweet spot, they wanted to be within that 1 mile of those particular neighborhoods, even though the market area is the whole thing. When people say, well, we need this kind of restaurant here, And I'm like, hey, I'll be happy to get you through the approval process. We have small business training now.
Yeah.
You know, the city has a partnership with IRSC and the SBDC. I know those, so you know IRSC is Indian River State College, Small Business Development, SBDC. So we now have a program where we will send you to training and make you eligible for a grant. We'll help you start a new business, new small business. We want that. So we're into what's called economic gardening, rather than, you know, trying to get other people to relocate here, you know, recruitment. Gardening is where you grow it. So I'm all for us growing it. So if you see a need, fill the need.
And we work with the SBDC and SCORE and the city as well.
SBA, yeah.
Yeah, SBA. So we can make sure that you're getting to all the right people to help you get that business started. We'd be more than happy to do that. Now, we've seen in the past, it's not my first year at the chamber, that when we come out of some sort of setback, and I'll call it a setback, but, you know, it doesn't mean anything, but the recession was one of them. And this has been a rough year for sure. We see a lot of entrepreneurship on the other end of it. And we are expecting to see that again when we're back to a little bit more normal. We're getting close, but we're not there. And so that's when we need to be armed and ready to go for people that do want to start a white cloth table restaurant or their own business. And we will make sure that we are well-versed and make all the right referrals. Now, we can't possibly know everything at the chamber, but I know exactly who to ask if you have a question. So you feel free to start with us, and we'll make all of those referrals to the EDC, the SBD, all the acronyms, all the alphabets. We will make sure you get in touch with them, because you do have some grant monies that are available. Well, I don't want to say grant monies, but they're reimbursement monies.
It's still a grant. I mean,
yeah, it is, because
yeah,
it's reimbursement. It's a reimbursement grant is what it is. So you have that as well. And there's just a lot of things out there, and we will make sure that we point you in all the right directions. But I hope to see that, and I think that we will see that at the other end of this. And with that, everybody, we all will see you next month, second Friday, right here at City Hall. Have a great day.